The Fantasy Men here with another hard-hitting video we guarantee you're going to love. We're here to help you smash your mates by building the best Supercoach team for 2021. Today, we're looking at our top 5 midfielders for the 2021 season. Stay tuned for our future videos highlighting potential pods in various price ranges and further team updates as we approach round 1. Let's start at number 5 and count all the way down to who we project is going to be the best midfielder to own in the 2021 Supercoach season. To kick off our star-studded list at number 5, we have Tom Mitchell. At the time of making this video, Mitchell is 13% owned by coaches with a 2020 average of 113.5. Prior to that, we saw huge averages in the 2018 and 2017 seasons with 129.1 in the year that he won the Brownlow and 118.9 the previous year. Mitchell is renowned for his ability to accumulate touches and produce huge numbers from doing so. His role won't be changing a whole heap this year, but his supporting cast certainly will, with the departures of Isaac Smith, Tom Scully and Ricky Henderson. Although this shouldn't really affect Tom's disposal accumulation, it will put him in a more of a leadership role where he's relied on by younger teammates and will put more of an emphasis on other parts of his game such as his tackling pressure. Through rounds 1 to 11 last season, we saw a mere 3.6 tackles per game from Mitchell. Nothing to write home about. But through the rounds 12 to 18, Mitchell saw a 64% increase in this area, boosting it to 5.6 tackles per game. Before last year, this wouldn't have gotten you a sniff inside the top 15 tacklers in the league, but this average in the condensed quarter format would have put him in the top 5 tacklers for the season. If we can see that kind of output, combined with his usual disposal numbers, Tom could prove to be a handy pick this year. In this video, we're going to give you the full 360 view of every player. We can sit here and talk about how good a player is for hours, but at the end of the day, it's about weighing up the goods and the bads before putting them in your team. With Mitchell, the downside we're going to discuss is his shoulder. For a few seasons now, he's had a shoulder that's been bugging him. In the off-season, he's elected to have it operated on, which will see him have a reduced off-season and less prep leading into this year. Although the shoulder isn't expected to delay the start of his season, the reduced off-season could result in lower early round scoring, something to be mindful of before forking out 610k for him. At number 4, a personal favourite of mine, Zach Merritt. Currently only 7.2% owned if you're after a pod for this season. Last year, Merritt averaged 115.6 points per game, a career high. Maybe a less noticed finish to the year as Essendon weren't really in contention for finals, but Merritt finished the year posting 6 straight tons, with 5 of them being 115 plus. If you need more convincing on Zach, this year he's been reinstated into the leadership group, which he was previously removed from by Coach Worsfold. A feather I'm sure he'll wear proudly in his cap. It's also a contract year for Merritt, meaning it's a great chance for him to boost up his stock price and prove to any potential buyers that he is worth the big bucks. My prediction for Zach to average around that 115 mark again this year. Okay, now for his downside. I'd say that last year was his first year being able to produce those consistent uber premium numbers, and when spending $620,000 on a player, you want assurance that he's going to give you consistent high numbers with a captain score every now and then. Overall, a very solid choice if you're looking for someone in that M2, M3 slot. Number 3, the man of steel himself, Jack Steele. Currently, he's 14.7% owned after his stellar breakout season last year, averaging 122.5. He's flourished into one of the most dominant midfielders in the competition, proving that you don't need absurd amount of touches to produce premium Supercoach scores on a consistent basis. This tackling contested ball winner saw 13 scores of 100 plus out of a potential 17 in last year's season, with his highest being 167 in round 13. There aren't really many reasons here to see any sort of drop off, as he plays a very Supercoach friendly role and has confirmed that his tagging days are in the rearview mirror. So, how about the downside, you ask? Again, the same as Merritt, this is the first year we've seen Steele produce scores of this calibre, and not having averaged 100 in a previous season is a concern for any coach looking to spend $658,000 on this guy. Our projection is that he'll average between that 112 to 115 mark this year. Coming in as our second ranked midfielder for 2021, is Clayton Oliver. Oliver is currently 25.3% owned and is definitely in the discussion of must-haves this season. Oliver led the league in clearances with 6.47 per game last year. Second was 6, so he was comfortably in first in this category. Combine this with his 25 disposals and 5.4 tackles, you have the 4th best average in Supercoach 2020 with 122.2. The lengthening of quarters back to 20 minutes this year should bode well for Oliver, as this man has the tank to go for a lifetime. Oliver's only downside is, are you ready? That he doesn't have a downside. He's in the prime of his career in a role on a team where he can continue to dominate. If you don't already have him penciled in as a starting mid, make room. This man is here to stay. And now, for the Fantasy Men's #1 midfielder of 2021, which I'm sure doesn't come as a huge surprise to most of you. Lachie Neale. The 2020 Brownlow Medal winner is a whopping 54.1% owned right now. And there's a lot of discussion going about right now of whether he should be in your starting lineup come round 1. In 2020, he started the season with 6 scores of 130 plus and was a popular captain option. Neale has proven year after year that he's capable of producing huge numbers, and we shouldn't expect that to change anytime soon. Neale was the #1 in total disposals last year, asserting his dominance miles ahead of the competition. In our opinion, he's a must-own player and a great vice-captaincy option. Downside. How could this guy have a downside? A lot of people are viewing his price tag as a downside of Neale. He'll set you back $721,800 as the second most expensive Supercoach option this year. You have to weigh up whether you're okay putting aside Neale's scores and using the money elsewhere, or taking his scores and potentially sacrificing in other areas. A popular option we're hearing is that people are relying on the Ryan Clark tag from Sydney in round 1 to promote a price drop in the following rounds. A risky strategy, but one that could pay off for any owners with big enough bank account to bring him after round 3. Personally, I won't be taking the risk in case he does go big in the first few rounds similar to last year. We want your say on the types of videos we produce and the players that we analyse. Let us know what you think in the comments. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe.